Good evening, everyone. It is the 26th of January, the year of Satoshi 2021. This is the BloomCast episode number 38. My name is Luis. I am coming to you live from my living room. The rest of us are coming to you live from our living rooms, our bedrooms, maybe even our restrooms. This is the BloomCast. Thank you for watching. I see that there's already a bunch of people kind of streaming into the comments. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. I'm really happy to be able to talk about this really strange week that we've just been having. If you remember some of our predictions from last week, we were very optimistic about the price, about where Bitcoin was going. So again, kind of humbled by the markets, as I like to say. No matter how much you think you know Bitcoin, no matter how much you think you know crypto, there's always something that will happen to kind of make you change your mind about that. So again, you're watching the BloomCast. I'm joined tonight by my co-hosts, CTO of Bloom Solutions, Ramon Tayag, COO of Bloom Solutions, Justin David. Coming to us live from Cyprus, Mark Vernon, CEO of Tag Cash. We're supposed to be joined this week by Gabby Dizon, of YGG. He's going to be telling us about his new startup, what they're doing over there. He might be a little bit late, so when he comes in, I will introduce him. But meantime, let's talk about that price, guys. Like, what happened? We are currently, where are we at? Let's just like show everyone how wrong we are. So the price of Bitcoin at the moment is $32,000, $32,200. Last week we predicted, I said $47,000, so I'm very, very far off from the price. I think I might have been the worst one of all of us. Mark Vernon, you were slightly pessimistic.
Yeah.
Tell us what your price was.
39,500. I thought it would go up a little bit, but consolidation means people are selling off. I think a lot of individuals are selling off their funds now, and the bigger guys are buying up all available supply. I think. I'm not sure.
Justin, David, what was your number last week?
Yeah, I thought it'd be. I think it was a bit lower, but still lower than we are lower than what I predicted last week. My quick take is that this was warned by the futures people, future contracts people. There's a lot of liquidations this week, over $4 billion worth of contracts liquidating this week. So that, and I think also, So that's probably one of the main reasons why there's a bit of and it happened again. I mean, I don't know if anybody was watching the charts last night, but we were pushing and. I swear 34, I thought that 34, 35, and I jumped in thinking that this is it. This is that candle. It looked familiar. And then when the US market opened, everything started to tank. So that's all the futures contracts taking bets, right? They're all closing. So this is a funny situation because if you look at the chart, it's an asymmetric triangle, which means it goes up or down. At one point, it's getting towards a point where it's going to decide.
I'm not a technical analyst, but I know that it tends to go up or down. But usually
it just goes up or down. Yeah. So it's sometimes we get like a triangle that is going to point upwards or downwards clearly, but right now it's almost smack right bang in the middle. So.
Next lots of scope for trading. Then, if it keeps going up and down, then
they love this. That's why we haven't had Eman back since the year started.
He's just too busy.
Trading expert, So they love this, right?
Yeah. Eman has actually said that he wants to kind of focus more on
making
basically
money.
The things that make him more money, right? And I was like, unfortunately, appearing on the BloomCast does not come with a talent fee. Something that I hope to correct at some stage in the future. Guys, I just saw Gabby Dizon join us. Gabby, hello.
Yo, Gabby.
Thank you for joining. Happy New Year, brother.
I'll be sending you my invoice later.
Talent fee.
I know for a fact that you made a little bit of money off of some crypto pop in the last couple of weeks. So like let's call it even, Muna. Let's call it even for at least for this one episode. How have things been going? Like I know that you're super busy with YGG. I want to like really dive into what YGG is doing very recently. But like, what's the last week been like for you? What's the first part of January been like for you so far? You're still muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, January has been really great for, I would say, Ethereum and yield farming and DeFi in general. I mean, the week where Ethereum basically moved up from 700 something to over 1,000, that was really a crazy week. And even when the dips happened, if you weren't super aggressive with leverage, yeah, you're actually still a lot higher than before the start of the new year. So yeah, January has been great.
Gabby, do you look at things like Link or Dot or kind of some of these new? So these are like new break-ins to the top five, no? So
Yeah,
it's Link, right? The one that's now currently in the top five. They
yeah,
didn't used to be like that. Are you
yeah.
looking at that at all?
So I don't really look at Link personally. Most of my attention are kind of on the DeFi ecosystem. Yeah, one of the realizations of the past couple of months is that there's just so much going on, so much cool stuff happening, and you really have to focus on a couple of areas where you think you have an edge. And like for better or worse, new layer one solutions are not really my forte. So I don't have a strong opinion on that, although it's done really well. I actually hold a little bit of atoms just from a purchase I made 2 years ago, but I haven't done anything or looked really deeply into the ecosystem. But yeah, for better for worse, I figured that where my expertise lay was in DeFi and NFTs. So even if
Okay.
like Filecoin comes out, a Definity comes out, like I don't really have any special edge there. So I keep to at least where I think I have a little bit of an edge.
Filecoin was Mark Vernon's favorite ICO of 2017. I remember
Yeah,
that for a fact.
that's a long time ago. But Gabby got me
Uh,
into NFTs, and I have to say thank you again for that because I'm well into NFTs now. Yeah.
Nice.
So, Justin, I think you've got a fan in the chat. I don't know what to make of this one. I'm just making sure that you saw it. I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, all right. So let's move on.
You
Gabby,
sure that wasn't supposed to be for Mark?
That wasn't for me.
No,
No, I'm looking
no,
at
it was
it. I can see
definitely
all of the.
God, it's
Mark
gotta
has
be
his
Mark,
own
right?
fan base.
He does. That's why I'm just
Yeah.
making sure, like people, Mark's in there. No,
We have no crossover.
okay.
Okay, wow. Gabby, where were you at the end of 2020? Where were you thinking that the Ether price was going to be? Kind of
Uh,
this month. Were you thinking $1,000 at least?
Not really. I was more preparing for kind of a slow grind up. But as it happens, like at least I've been in this space long enough that when you see Bitcoin surge, then you can kind of wait patiently, knowing that ETH will follow. I think actually they will decouple eventually as the system matures. But yeah, I think yeah, when BTC goes up and goes crazy, you can kind of be patient and know that Ethereum and the rest of the ecosystem will follow.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's do a quick check of the charts one more time, just because we weren't able to really look at it very closely. But so this time last week, we were saying that we were $1 trillion, $1.1 trillion market cap. And even though the Bitcoin price had already kind of gone down from its $40,000 peak, we could tell that most of the money was still in crypto, right? Because it was just moving into other assets and into other coins. But I think what we've seen now is that we're actually seeing an exit. No, so from 1.1, we're now at 960 trillion dollars. So that means that some
That's
of
an exit
those funds
cash.
actually are coming out. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
I mean, because this market cap includes stable coins. It includes USDT. So that means we lost about $100 billion since last week. in various things. And earlier, Justin, you were saying that it's some futures guys or stuff like that. Is that what you were pointing to? You're still muted. Oh, let me
Yeah, no,
unmute.
What?
some of them are being liquidated this week. So about 4 billion worth. I don't know what prices they had them at, but it seems like they're all being called right now. Well, it started early, so Friday is going to be, I think, the chunk size of that. So, yeah,
End of the month.
end of the month. Expect the turbulence to continue, guys, until at least end of the week.
How does that actually work though? Is that cash coming in to buy the futures without actually buying the coin, the underlying currency?
I think people are either making bets on it, because I don't know what those prices, those futures are at. So either they're way under, or for some reason they're
But if
over.
they're making bets, I mean, the overall value
Or
of
the market, yeah.
of the market should stay similar. Well, I mean, if it's,
Well,
I'm just thinking about the exit of cash. If it's cash,
yeah. So if people are
selling.
expecting, they're shorting the market. Then if they're expecting that the futures aren't going to hit, so
all
people are
these
liquidating.
pessimistic people. All these pessimistic people.
It's good. I think it's still healthy for the market, like this sideways action for at least the rest of the month.
And on that note, shall we do our next week's bets on the Bitcoin price? So I was the worst of the bets from last week. I am off by $15,000. It was like quite possibly the largest I have ever been off. I'm gonna wait for you guys. I'm gonna wait for you guys to tell me what your forecasts are first. Mark Vernon.
I'm going for
So next
34
Tuesday night.
34K.
34,000. That is only $1,500 better than the.
I think we're still in consolidation mode. You know, like people buying and selling.
Okay, people in the chat, let us know what your bets are. I want to see which ones of you agree with Mark Vernon. So
I'll
last
go
week, Mark Vernon
30.
made a record. And sorry, I'll just really good. Like Mark Vernon made a record last week because he was the most pessimistic of the group. That's never happened before. Okay, what do the rest of you guys think? Juan?
Yeah, I'll go the same. I'm gonna stick to 37.5.
Ooh, okay, all right,
Optimist.
okay, that's within range.
Yeah.
So that's like a wait. That was your bet last week, also, no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Was
cool.
it?
Okay, 37.5. Okay, Justin David.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm still gonna place my bets higher, so around 39. I'm gonna say.
You think it will test 40 again, or?
I think we're gonna break out of this
just-
triangle around this time next week, but I don't think it's gonna. It'll start to flirt with that that 42 all-time high again. But yeah,
If
we'll see.
I was thinking, if a lot of end of tax years are end in April, right, in the States.
Yeah.
No,
Do you think corporations would
fiscal
wait?
year.
Would they wait until that point before then saying, okay, now we can allocate funds, etc. Before or after?
I mean, it's already booked in. So I mean, it's the year end. Their reporting is probably just what needs to be done by April 15, if I got that right. So
Yeah, but they're saying, oh, we need to put stuff in so we don't pay taxes or whatever. We reduce taxes, so we wait until afterwards until. Yeah.
They should have done that in December. So the end of the tax year is December 31.
No,
so that had
so
to
you
be.
think it's already baked in?
Too late.
That's
Okay. Gabby Dizon, I will allow you to do an Ethereum bet if you want, but
Wow.
unfortunately, there's no one else making an Ethereum price bet because we don't know Ethereum as well. But if you want to do a Bitcoin one, of course, you're perfectly welcome to.
Yeah. My bet for Bitcoin is 36,721.
Wow.
It's a 721. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I think you
All
forgot
right.
the cents.
721. It's a 721.
And
You can
for
get that
Okay, there you go. Very good.
and for
Very good.
Ethereum, it's useless because I have no one to bet against. So I'll pass.
You can bet
And
against me.
I would like to point out that the decrease in market cap was a result of Mark selling his bitcoins to cash.
You know what I did? I did sell my Ethereum for Bitcoin
I heard
at 700 or whatever it was.
I heard that Asia, I guess they mean East Asia, is generally still bearish, and they've been selling a lot of their Bitcoin.
That is the general narrative in crypto Twitter because of the times of when.
Yeah.
So
I
who's
think
buying it?
Yeah.
Who's
I think
buying it?
it's
Americans.
probably more of
Yeah,
where the
Americans.
bitcoins are coming from, where they're being mined, more than who's
Interesting.
bearish or not. Right? That's just a personal theory of mine.
Yeah, but that's only 900
You-
Bitcoin a day. So
And so I thought we were saying that PayPal was just buying all of that up.
Yeah, it is.
I guess that's
It
no
is.
longer the case, or
it's
is
still
it?
buying it all. If you look at Paxful's record.
Interesting.
So I think like a lot of people in the East Asia are saying are selling it, and a lot of Americans are buying it all up.
Yeah.
When they run out,
institutions.
their price will go up.
Okay. I think I am going to continue to be optimistic just because I like that. I am going to go over 40K. I'm gonna say 41, just 41. So we'll test it a little bit, and then we'll kind of hopefully it'll just kind of flounder around 40, 41, right
I won't-
around the time of the BloomCast.
I won't be unhappy if you all beat me in my things. I'll be very
Yeah.
happy if it goes to
Yeah.
41.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Did you have a price mark for Ether also?
I reckon about 1250.
1250. There was someone in the chat who said exactly that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Jimbo
1250, yeah.
said exactly that. $1,250 for Ether. What about you, Gabby? Are you expecting around that price? That's a little
Between
lower, though.
between 13 to 14 is my bet. I
Okay.
think we'll be at around this range.
So we're going to compete with each other. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So in other words, you don't believe that. Actually, none of us believe that either Bitcoin or Ethereum will break their all-time highs this week, right?
this
It doesn't sound like anyone is
Well,
saying.
Ethereum did. Was it?
Yeah, I mean, like for next week. For next week.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
seems
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah. So parang what we're saying is we're not gonna break all-time high within the
Again.
next 7 days. Yeah.
And there's no exciting news or anything that's going to happen in the next week to make that change. There's no elections. There's no.
What do you guys think of the Chinese New Year effect? I think about it. Like, do you think it's still a thing in 2021?
Will they
So,
buy or are they going to?
They always sell.
Yeah, well,
Really?
because they need. Well, I mean, the narrative has always been
like
that when
Christmas.
there's a big Chinese holiday coming up, it means they're liquidating their crypto because they want to spend money, right? That's usually the narrative. I don't know if that's always going to be the case, like forever. The one thing I can tell you is that the Binance marketing team reached out to me and asked for my home address so they can send me some gifts for Chinese New Year. That's all I know about.
Wanted to
like,
dox
this-
you.
Yeah, well, maybe they might also dox me. Hopefully not.
So
I'm
maybe
actually
maybe CZ then is selling Bitcoin so that he can some goodies.
Yeah, so he can afford to send some merchandise to people like me. I'm still waiting for my Binance Sando.
Yeah.
Like I was hoping that I'd actually have it in time for this show, but Colin said that there was a small chance I might actually get a Binance Sando at some point. Mark, maybe if you're, since you're also friends with Colin, maybe you can get him to, mail you one in Malta.
From to Cyprus, yeah, right. I think I'll make my own, CZ, something like that,
Nice. Okay. Let's go back to the slides really quickly. Okay. First news of the day. This one is kind of an interesting one because I thought it was very. I could not understand what the heck had happened here. But I'll read the headline and then let's talk about it. Bitcoin websites asked to remove whitepaper after Craig Wright claims copyright infringement. So if you don't know who Craig Wright is, he has been called fake Toshi by kind of the loyal Bitcoiners. So he's the guy who has been claiming that he is the real Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. Amongst other weird things, he also helped found Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, which is a fork of Bitcoin. And then very recently, he started suing a whole bunch of Bitcoin websites who were hosting the original Bitcoin white paper. And he was saying that you should take that down because, that's my copyright and you are infringing on my copyright.
And if he was the original Satoshi, he would never have said this. He's just proving his point that he's an idiot and he's not the original. So.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. But what's really interesting is that bitcoincore.org actually did take down the white paper. And I have a quote here from Cobra Bitcoin. Cobra Bitcoin is one of the real original gangsters of the Bitcoin community. He's been around from almost from the very start. He is the guy who is maintaining the bitcoin.org website, which is different from bitcoincore.org. Those are two different websites. He was saying total fear, total capitulation, Bitcoin Core is dead as a project, in my opinion. What do you guys think about this? Like, when I saw what happened, I was really surprised that bitcoincore.org took down the white paper. I'm not sure, and I was expecting that. I was expecting that they would be kind of sticking to their guns.
So he's saying that
well,
Bitcoin Core is dead, not the website, or
Yeah,
not Bitcoin.
Yes, the website. The website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the website.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I heard was like, these developers, they are not, at least not all of them are pseudonymous or anonymous, right? And all it takes for Craig Wright to make their life a living hell is to sue them, even if there's no basis, even if it'll be thrown out, he could just keep suing them, and they're gonna have to hire lawyers and respond.
Yeah.
So that was what they said. Like, they like Bitcoin, but they're not gonna ruin their lives over it. And I understand both sides, to be honest. So I don't know.
Like, you gotta
what I would
remember,
do.
Bitcoin Core is not a company, not a corporation, right? They've got no
Individual,
PR PR
It's
team
not
or
even a
legal team.
foundation. It's
Right.
not even a foundation. Yeah.
Hey, does anyone know if the anonymous assassination thing is still going through the darknet? On you know what I'm talking about.
I know what I do.
What would you do?
I would
Mon?
I would probably just make a pseudonym and then continue as that pseudonym, hand over the keys to that pseudonym, and then
Let them sue the pseudonym.
deny that Ramon Tayag is the one in charge of it, and this pseudonym is now has the.
I mean, that's
Is
a
the web.
great plan, although I probably wouldn't have announced it on a live.
What would be the name of that pseudonym, by the way?
Well,
Ramon?
Yeah. What would be,
Satoshi Nakamoto is taken.
I have this list, and I'll share it with you guys to get your opinion. But
nice.
maybe next
That's a
episode.
good one. Is one of them like Tamon Rayag or something like that?
Yes.
it'll
Flip
be
a few more
Bitcoin
words, but you're close.
X-Core. Bitcoin X-Core.
Nice.
But this is these are the guys that are saying, the original Bitcoin guys that are saying, if you don't defend Bitcoin, then you're dead to us, that kind of thing.
Right. Actually, so one of the things that Mon was saying is precisely kind of what the Bitcoin developers were parang saying to justify their decision. Like, should anyone in an open source community have to bear the legal brunt of a seemingly senseless lawsuit? Unfortunately, even if it is a senseless lawsuit, you still gotta pay that lawyer to
It's still a lawsuit,
respond
yeah.
to it. Yeah, it's still a lawsuit. And that makes it kind of expensive, especially if these guys are not really, they're not working. I assume they have community donations. And I assume they've got some of their own Bitcoin. But I assume there's also other things they would rather spend their money on than
But
defending themselves.
this is just America that does this, where you have to defend with money and so on. Any other country, you just throw it out. So are these lawsuits coming in America?
I understand
very likely.
England is similar. Yeah, because what's his name? Peter McCormack was sued also by Craig Wright.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
as long as these
libel or
law
something.
firms are on Craig Wright's pay list, right? They're just keep going.
He's such a pain that, I mean, everyone who knows anything about this knows that he can't be the original guy because of the way he's doing it.
Yeah. But unfortunately, there's still a market cap to argue against all of that, right? By the way, I can't even remember what the Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision market cap is. I imagine it's pretty small, but like, for as long as that is not zero, people are still going to talk about him, right? Unfortunately. So
Is Bitcoin Gold still alive?
Yeah.
yeah. Bitcoin Gold
4
is from Hong
million,
Kong.
4 million market cap last I checked.
Yeah, I made money out of BSV.
Did
and,
anybody claim, because that was forked, and
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
reason why I still watch that. That was forked, and if you're keeping
It
some
was forked.
Bitcoin, and you
Yeah,
would have gotten some
I
BTC.
love the forking. It's good.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like finding money
Free
under the
money,
couch.
yeah.
Do you mean wait? Do you mean 4 billion, Justin? Do you mean
4
4 billion or
million,
4 million?
4
4
million,
million.
4 million,
Yeah.
4 million.
4
That's not
million.
very
I
big,
believe.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
that's not very big.
Bentacoin is at 6 million last time I checked.
Dude, fucking Cian coin might be higher than that. Jeez. Okay. All right. So I'm not gonna read the rest of it, but if you guys are interested, there is an ongoing debate kasi about what the duty of a Bitcoin developer really is. I mean, is it to defend Bitcoin against lawsuits and all of that stuff, or is it just to kind of, parang take leadership over the code base? And if you're an engineer, usually you will say that you care about just the code base, not so much the legal part of it. And so that's kind of the heart of the debate.
So the question
Unfortunately,
is Bloom going to put up a link to the white paper?
I don't think we need to, but I feel like why not, right? I mean, honestly, the Bitcoin white paper appears in so many places online right now, and I think in the last week alone we had like 1,000 new places where it was
Yeah,
republished.
because of this. Yeah.
Yeah, because of what he did. Yeah, so in a way, he's just
Shot himself in
making
the
people-
foot. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe he just likes suing people. Maybe he's got his law firm. He's paying them by the month instead of by the hour. So it's just like giving them as much work as they possibly can take. I'm just gonna like close my window because I can hear my cats meowing. Just a sec. So,
Well, at least he's not on the beach at the moment.
yeah, no, it's Okay, all right, here I am. I'm back. Okay.
Although I did
cool.
like the beach background last time. That was good.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was great. I just didn't like the mosquitoes so much. That's the only problem with that.
So what else we got?
Okay, here we go. Possibly the
I
biggest
this.
news of last week was the alleged double spend transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain. And if you know anything about Bitcoin, you know that the whole point of Bitcoin is that double spends are supposed to be impossible to pull off, right? So kind of this big news from Cointelegraph was that, so they were quoting someone else, no? So they quoted BitMEX research. They said, BitMEX has identified a suspected double spend transaction valued at just like $21. Not big.
Yeah, but it could be big. It could be any amount. So
Yes, exactly. So that's kind of the most important part of the news, right? And this is what everyone kind of really hooked onto. So they saw the news, and it doesn't matter if it's $21. It could be $21 million. That would have been the same transaction, roughly. Someone from, unfortunately, someone from Bitcoin Satoshi's vision, this guy, Eli Afram.
All
he
people to
noted
ask.
that- yeah, kaya nga, what a weird person to ask for their opinion on this. So he's saying, so it appears an actual double spend has occurred on Bitcoin. It's not replaced by fee transaction, but an actual double spend. A mere $22, but this could have been 22 million. Okay, so Bitpinas actually covered this also. Because and Mike, I see Mike is in the chat. He was telling me that he was excited to hear our take on this. I told Mon that we were gonna do this. Like, do you wanna do a quick just explanation of exactly what happened?
Yeah, so I know you're going to show Andreas's reply here, and he covered it pretty well. So I don't want to, bore people and repeat too much of what he says. But basically, I don't know where people got the idea that you couldn't double spend on Bitcoin. There is no such thing as being 100% certain. It's just that the more confirmations on top of yours, or the more confirmations your transaction has, then it becomes way less likely that a double spend can occur. Like even if you're using Electrum and you want to cancel a transaction, it says double spend it and send it back to yourself, right? Because and Bitcoin forks all the time. I've had to write code for Bloom that syncs the Bitcoin blockchain and puts it in a Postgres database. and you have to watch out for when the network forks, and then you just go for the longest chain, right? So
Well, it's
that's
only waiting
essentially
a
what
max of
happened.
an hour. A max of an hour, 6 confirmations, and that's why people say 6 confirmations. Yeah.
Yeah,
because
6 confirmations
the
with
odds that
today's
information is still wrong are very, very low after that many confirmations.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
reason why we wait.
Yeah, like it's so small that and Andreas had a nice one. He mentioned it a long time ago, and I'm sure we can adjust for the prices today. But he said, hey, if you're selling coffee, then don't wait for confirmations. If you're maybe selling a cell phone, then wait for one. If you're selling a TV, wait for two. And then if you're selling
House.
a jet, then wait for 6 confirmations.
If you're selling a
Okay.
Bitcoin, wait for 6.
Right. Well said. If you're selling an NFT, yeah, actually, I don't know. I've never owned an NFT. I've never been paid with Bitcoin, unfortunately, for any of my art. That's kind of sad. I'm still waiting for someone who actually will pay me with Bitcoin.
Yeah, but even 6 confirmations will be like a minute. So
right.
2 minutes.
Yeah. So okay. So just to kind of I wanted to kind of drill down a little bit more, no. And this is actually a really interesting conversation because of that thing that Mon was just saying. If you're selling someone a cup of coffee, you typically don't care if you get confirmations on that transaction anymore, as long as it shows up on the chain, no, even if it's zero conf.
Yeah,
Now,
99.99%.
we have to kind of I want to be more specific about what this actually means, no. So Bitcoin transactions are what we call atomic, and what that means is that if there's zero confirmations, what that means is the Bitcoin is still in my wallet. It's still in the wallet of the sender. Your wallets do this display thing where they will say they will make it look like the balance has actually been deducted, but that's only to make you to stop you from doing stupid things like trying to send more amounts than you actually have. But really, what's if there are zero confirmations, the Bitcoin is still with me. And it's only after the first one where the Bitcoin has technically really been transferred to another person's wallet. Now, the reason why we use the coffee thing as an example is because it's a small enough amount where typically if you're in front of the person and you are getting the coffee in exchange, it's probably fine. But understand that really that Bitcoin has not left your wallet yet. At zero confirmations. Am I saying that right, Mon? Like, I just want to be like make sure
right.
that I'm not. Yeah. And this is the thing that a lot of people kind of get kind of confused in their head because they actually think that when the balance has been deducted from their Bitcoin wallet, it means that it's gone. It's already, but it hasn't. It's actually still there. It's just the wallet.
So it's like a checking account. You submit the check already, and then people. Well, I guess you should keep track that you can't spend beyond your balance in your account minus what the check you wrote out.
Right.
But you can double spend by writing 2 checks. Whoever claims it first will be the one to get that money, right?
Right. I wonder how many times banks have to worry about double spent checks every day now. I wonder if that's the kind of thing they have to worry about.
Well, in the Philippines, it's against the law to do it, so unlike other countries.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear, like I want to dispel this idea, or I want to drive that point home that double spends are possible. In fact, that was the whole, not the whole gripe people had about Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash said that, zero confirmations are fine, double spends aren't going to happen. But I don't see how that's possible, really. Like, I don't see how that is possible. And Bitcoin people were saying that don't believe Roger Ver, essentially, because the less confirmations there are, the chances of it being double spent are higher, right?
Right.
Because it's not on chain yet. It has to be on chain to be proven.
Yeah.
And the longer the chain is, the better. That's easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Correct. That's exactly right. Okay. So I've got a
This is
little
the
bit of
actual
news
art.
that I want.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit of news that I want Gabby to talk about. So Gabby and I are pretty into the whole crypto art thing. We've been talking about that for at least the last year. And very recently, the Rick and Morty creator, Justin Roiland, very, very big name in the nerds circle. No? So if you don't know what Rick and Morty is, it is only the best sci-fi show ever made. If you've never seen the show, I highly recommend binging it over a weekend. It's some of the most sharply written sci-fi you will ever see. So very beloved creator. He decided that he was gonna try something in crypto art. He entitled this collection "The Best I Could Do" because he was really trolling the art community with it. The piece that you see here is called The Smintons, so he didn't even come up with something original. He just wanted to parody The Simpsons. Gabby, tell us what the hell happened here, because
and also which idiot, savvy investor actually bought this.
Yeah, so the series was released on Nifty Gateway. And Nifty Gateway is basically an NFT art platform that is owned by Gemini. So it's owned by the Winklevoss twins. And in particular, these guys are pretty good at doing crossovers between, I would say, real world cultural icons and then getting them to mint their first NFTs. So they were able to get Beeple, a really famous digital artist, to mint his first NFTs, and that did over 2 million. And the interesting thing here with Justin Roiland is that for a lot of people looking at this is not really what you would call art, but actually,
yeah.
But this is not it's not an NFT question. It's not even a crypto art question. It's actually an art question. And if you look at a lot of contemporary art, going back to, was that the other year, the banana on the wall and all of that.
Yes.
Art
Yeah,
has
that was,
always been
yeah.
meant to shock, and a lot of it is based on two things. One is who is doing the selling, and two is who actually made it. So if I did this drawing, and there's a fair chance I could actually do it, I don't expect it to sell for even a tenth of 1% as much. So it really gives you the question of like, what is art, and what is interesting about this being on the NFT and minted on chain is that you can at least have a fair amount of provenance that that basically this was created by Justin Roiland, which I assume that what the buyer really cares about, because you can have and I think Justin Roiland actually is artwork of similar nature that he sells on eBay, but it's sold for far less, like a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Gabby,
interesting that you have perfect provenance basically.
Gabby, do you think this is an ERC 721?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, it's
So the actual image itself, is it stored on chain? The actual image.
it's on an IPFS if it's
Okay.
Nifty Gateway, right? I believe that's
right.
I believe that's the solution that they're using. Yeah. The actual are you asking whether
The actual piece of art? Yeah.
Well, the actual piece of art is a piece of. It looks like a Post-it note, for God's sake. So I don't think the actual piece of art exists on the blockchain. I think it might exist as a Post-it note on Justin Roiland's desk.
Yeah.
So Lewis, when are you
And
going to
maybe
sell?
use it to white button
It's good
after
for you,
the
Lewis.
dump.
Your stuff will sell for a lot more money in the future.
Unfortunately, this is proof, I think, that you need to be a really big name first in order to kind of pull off these.
So you're big in the
types of things.
Philippines. So did Gabby made some money out of your crypto pop, didn't he?
Just a little bit. It wasn't. He did not make $1.65 million from it, though. That's
Let's start
unfortunately.
somewhere. Let's start somewhere.
Yeah, he made a little bit off it. So
So you
and
got to
also,
be
I guess-
famous. You got to be famous to create something that's going to be worth money. So you got to be a Van Gogh after he died before it's worth anything.
Prior.
Well,
to
you could be
this,
really
one of
good,
the-
or you could be really famous, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of vectors naman. It's not just fame, obviously. You could be really good too. But generally speaking, if you're really good, then fame tends to follow. So people, right? I mean,
Yeah, but
a
you're
pretty
really
good
good.
example.
Your artwork is really good.
Yeah, I can't do the
Yeah,
Smiths, though.
for people famously, people had 13 years of every day. So he did draw a complete, I guess, a complete artwork every day for 13 years, and he's basically a god tier meme lord with with
Yeah,
just highly evolved art skills. But
for
he's the
sure.
best kind of meme poster
So,
I've ever seen. Probably
so
the
it's
richest
like
one.
it's like the Queen of England doing something, and you're buying it just because she's the Queen of England, and no one else has it. It's just that provenance
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Yeah, for
scarcity.
sure. I mean, how
yeah.
much do you think the snot of her
Oh,
napkin
come
is worth?
on! Gross.
So Colin actually wrote an article called Colin Goltra from Binance wrote an article called Speculations. That's actually a pretty good read if you're into kind of learning more about this stuff. But suffice to say that the crypto art scene gonna continue growing, and stuff like this. Whether or not you care about the quality of the art itself, this is the kind of thing that people always take notice of, right? I mean, these are massive numbers. I'm pretty sure Justin Roiland himself was probably very surprised by the amount of money that he made off of this, considering that it looks like a 10-minute drawing. And that's not me being bitter. I'm just saying.
There's a lot of thought.
It,
There's a lot of thought gone into that. You can see.
yeah, yeah, yes, I can see that. I can
You
see
can
that.
you can say it took him the last 20 years of his career to come
Yeah, I
up
was going
with
to say
this.
you're paying for the 20 years of experience that have gone into that, like a Jackson
Very
Pollock
true.
painting that you think you can do.
Very
You know,
true. Very true. Yeah, unfortunately, they've only got like 3 years worth of crypto art experience, so I'm not quite there at that level yet. I'll get there, guys. I'll get
One
there.
day,
And
one
once
day.
once that happens, what are the
My
things that we
my
need to do
my
in the
art
Bloomcast?
collection is waiting for it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I was gonna say we can finally start afford to pay talent fees for our guests on the Bloomcast when that happens.
Can I ask Gabby a question about NFTs, or is it?
Yeah.
Go
Are
for
you
it.
go? A lot of what you see on NFTs is gaming and art at the moment. But I'm more interested in corporate use of NFT. For real case like supply chain stuff. Where do you think that future lies? Yeah, where do you
Okay,
think
so
the future of NFTs in the area?
we're actually not that far, maybe 2 to 3 years from people being able to upload basically an NFT that represents a real world item, be it the title to a house, a car, a very rare magic card, and be able to
Well,
obtain DeFi like loans on that. I
okay.
think
Because technically you can do it already. I mean, I'm already doing it. It's technically you can do it, but the actual acceptance by government or whatever for the actual assets—that's the problem, right? Who
yeah,
has
that's one part of it. The other part is that when you tokenize real world things, there needs to be a whole physical infrastructure built around proving the provenance, authenticity, maybe even insurance. What if a fire hits the safe where your Black Lotus is? What will happen to the NFT, right? So these
Yeah.
are things you don't have to worry about in kind of pure NFT world, because basically the Ethereum network will have to completely crash before the NFTs are invalidated. Yeah, so there's actually a few projects tackling this. A lot of it is based on supply chains, for example,
Right.
tokenizing
Right.
invoices. But there's also projects that basically are doing a general purpose system of basically tokenizing anything of value and being able to build a chain of authenticity and provenance. And yeah, and basically when you can put your house up on compound and get a loan on it and possibly get even liquidated, I'm actually excited to see that future.
Well, I mean,
It
it
is
does. You
frightening.
need. The thing is, government departments make money on searches and other thing, and actually handling that information on as a registry. So governments have got to relinquish control of the registry of whatever that is, whether it's cars, products. So I think
Or
before
they'll be
that
a
will be
key
a lot
part
of
of it.
products. Yeah, well, before that, it would be a lot of products that are not, they don't have a registry, like artwork and stuff like that. Stuff like DeFi, it's easy enough to do because it's all on chain. Borrowings, invoices, it's all digital. But anything where the government has control, that's a lot harder to get them to, release that.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway, it's going to be interesting, like I say.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do our news roundup for the week. I wanted to make sure that we don't miss any of the smaller kind of news items. Bitpinas kind of agrees with me that the double spend hoax was kind of the most important news of this last week. But let's look at some of the other things that they talk about. Here's a bit of news that kind of went under the radar for me. So apparently, MicroStrategy is still buying Bitcoin. So they were not satisfied with the 70,700 Bitcoins they already have. And they purchased another 300, like just kind of randomly. No, and what was kind of funny was those 314 Bitcoin. I assume that is like a reference to the number pi, maybe. It doesn't feel that random. And it was already $10 million. Is there anything here that we need to?
BlackRock? Are you going to cover the BlackRock?
It seems like Sailor is just trolling us at this point.
Basically,
BlackRock
everything that he does. Yeah.
BlackRock took a stake in MicroStrategy, and it's a major stake.
Oh, did they really? Okay. Is that in? Let's see. I didn't see that. Did that just get announced?
Yeah, well, at the beginning of the week. So yeah.
So
Was that
basically,
here it is.
Grayscale?
BlackRock.
No, here.
No. BlackRock is they got a market cap of what 1.2 billion.
Yeah, second biggest.
No, it's MicroStrategy has that. BlackRock endorsed their business endorsed Bitcoin. And
But
they
didn't
bought
take a
21. They bought $250 million worth. I think that might be part of the deal.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
They own 15% of MicroStrategy.
Okay. Wow, I did not realize that. Thus far, the MicroStrategy strategy has been working. Like this is his up 10%, which is more than I can say for Bitcoin. But it seems like it's doing okay in terms of his stock price.
But they have to sell. Don't they have to sell a bit of Bitcoin now and again to realize the returns for their investors?
Maybe they don't have to.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they might have to balance sheet, stuff like that. That will happen as all the institutions come in, right? They have to do monthly end rebalancing, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. That's why choppy times.
He's 100% up though. Diba? Like his average was $16,000. So I think he's okay. Like if he does have to liquidate some of it, I think he's fine.
I wonder if he's going to move into Ethereum at some point. No.
That would be interesting. I don't know, Mon. Like you're of all of us. I think you've watched the most Michael Saylor content. Is he the kind of person?
Yeah.
Sailor Moon.
I feel I have. He doesn't seem interested in anything else.
No, just Bitcoin.
Yeah.
He's a maximalist like me. Unfortunately, selling my Ethereum too early.
So here's an interesting question from Michael from Bitpinas. Like, what do you think will compel him to sell?
Balance sheet.
Price. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it, right? I mean, this is a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
Well, it would have to drop by half. I mean, he's got.
But you think he would liquidate?
What's his dollar averaging? 15,000 or something? I don't know.
16. It's 16,000.
16. Yeah. So he's done quite well. Yes. So I don't think he'll drop back down to 16.
What was interesting I heard about MicroStrategy was it takes them something like 6 months as an institutional publicly listed company to make a big move like this from introduction to the board that decides these kind of investments. It takes them 6 months. So you can see where they probably made this decision to buy their first tranche right around the dip
8,000
in March. No, the one where we went
4,000.
Yeah, the 4,000. You could see exactly 6 months from there is when they made their first tranche. So
that's pretty crazy.
I mean, who knows? By the time this price gets to that sort of sell target that maybe they're looking for, it might take 6 months from.
Let's just say they're not day trading their bitcoins on Coinbase, right?
No,
I don't think so. Yeah, for sure.
But in terms of in the old days, it would be the whales and whatever the whale was considered then would be able to sway the markets on Mt. Gox or whatever. So they could quite easily do that if they wanted to. They could actually trade that. And so I'm wondering how many other big companies would want to do that? Do you think of any companies that might want to buy, like $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and then just play with that
I think
market?
the immediate move for them, if they just really want to quickly dip, is to buy into a trust like one of the grayscale trusts, or I think that's what they've been doing mostly.
Right.
It's easier, it's faster, they get exposure right away without having to possess it right away, and the whole custody thing, right? Like who's going to hold it and that stuff.
It's still very hard
I mean-
for big corporate treasuries to actually buy and hold Bitcoin, right?
Because who manages it?
Yeah.
Who's going to run off
so they
with the
go
money?
to places.
Buying
go to places
MicroStrategy is a lot easier for them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Go to places
Sure.
like Anchorage or Fidelity, also, right?
Yeah.
But that's why Goldman Sachs wants to be a custodial holder without trading it, right? And I've been talking to a bank in Europe, and they want to do the same thing. Like the oldest bank in Europe, and they want to do custodial holdings. That's what they got on the front page and everything. So they're pushing that without trading it. Yeah.
Even if they just charge 1%, it's like banks also see the writing on the wall. Their income is dwindling every year.
Well,
Right?
hell, in Europe, if you hold money, you have to pay 0.25%. It's negative interest.
I know, right? So
Right,
they see that, and they're looking for other stuff to do.
What I want them to do is to take the Bitcoin on and then borrow against it. That's when the banks really get into that. That's going to be good.
Okay.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me is that as these whales are eclipsed with basically these corporate treasuries that aren't buying and selling on a whim, what does that do for the floor of crypto in general? These guys aren't gonna bust out their storage just because it dipped 10%, right?
No.
Yeah.
For
And I
sure.
think that's the best floor price for anybody who's panicking when
Yeah.
they see these choppy waters. Is just to look at that, to look at the whole narrative that people have not been buying in tranches of 1 or 2 Bitcoin. We're talking about hundreds of Bitcoin, so they're not going to
Or in
quickly
MicroStrategy's case, 70,000 Bitcoin.
70,000 in in a single
What do you
price.
what do you call bigger than a whale?
A dinosaur?
No, that's big.
Whales are actually bigger than dinosaurs.
Really?
Leviathan, I guess.
Or maybe you just change you're not a whale. You're not a whale anymore. You're now a tadpole. And
Yeah.
Conversely,
so-
what do you think will happen to a Bitcoin? For example, it reaches $100,000, and MicroStrategy releases their corporate disclosure saying they sold 10%, right?
Right.
profit taking.
Right.
That would not be fun, I think, for the market.
Yeah, for sure. But I would imagine leading up to $100,000, and I know that these guys probably learned a lesson trying to buy 70,000 Bitcoins on the open market. No, so they realize that you gotta do that very strategically, because otherwise you're gonna cause the market to do things that you don't want it to do, right? So in the case of the 2020, they didn't want the price to keep going up, but because they were buying so much, they were triggering.
And they're not going to sell it on the open exchanges. If I wanted to sell my Bitcoin, what's the point? Because I got to find a bank that will handle the money that goes through, and then what am I sitting on? Something that's not quite reliable as the banks go bust, etc.
But he bought it on open exchanges, though.
Yeah, a long time ago, but now it's worth a lot more. So what's the point?
Yeah, if
And
he
so-
sells 10%, it would be.
Yeah, but
Just
how
about
would he sell it? Who would he sell it to? Except to other exchanges, other OTC, another company would be buying it up, so it wouldn't affect the price too much.
Yeah, I think what
Yeah.
seems likely is that
It's OTC.
MicroStrategy would just offer more and more bonds for cash flow rather than actually selling their Bitcoin.
Yeah, and he'll fundraise on that. I mean, he did that in December. I mean, that the narrative is so strong, the FOMO is so strong with a lot of these. When he just did a promissory note, right, and it was taken by one guy, and he got another 400 million.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just one guy.
He was
400 million.
oversubscribed. Yeah.
And he oversubscribed to the same guy as well. So the same individual
wow.
who bought
But
it.
if you guys like, and this is to the people listening also, if this topic interests you, check out, like, Preston Fish has talked about this. Like, is this the last cycle, right? Or will Bitcoin follow 2017 and maybe reach 200, 250, then crash back down, or will it just keep going up? So he covers that in a few of his podcast.
And
interviews.
as always, is when should you sell your Bitcoin to realize your profit? Just that
Right.
bad.
I just ended up with the wrong tab there. Okay. All right.
Unless your unit
So
of account is Bitcoin.
I wanted to do one real quick shout out to XRP. This month's most kawawa cryptocurrency.
Wow.
Let's see what's going on here. So as everyone knows, XRP is kind of in trouble with the US SEC. And the fallout is pretty strange, right? So across a lot of the industry, XRP, the token, is being delisted. Here in the Philippines, we're seeing some of our exchanges delist them. So PDAX is suspending BTC XRP, although I have a feeling that is mostly because no one would, in their right mind, would trade XRP for BTC. Like that's a losing proposition no matter what you
But
do.
in Japan, they're saying it's still not a security, so they're trading in Japan. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be different per jurisdiction, but at least here in the Philippines, we're starting to see some of our kind of other exchanges kind of like pulling back from XRP. Bex, BEX Press. I actually don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Bexpress? Bexpress? Yeah, BXpress Pro. So they're suspending all of their XRP, and that's mostly because of the advice of our friend attorney Raf.
No, he's right.
So
It's, they're going to take the US point of view, so you might as well just follow that. Otherwise, someone's going to the SEC is going to say, "Oi, it's a security," according to the US.
Right. Yep. So we are going to still wait and see exactly what happens with XRP in the next couple of months, but like it's not looking good. I think that's kind of that's the basic
Is any
story.
any of the people on the chat here bought any? They think they're buying on the dip, and they think it's going to go up. Has anyone bought any?
Kind of like this dip could take a while, guys. Like that is financial advice. I would try to stay away from it a little bit if I could. That is my official financial advice on XRP.
Stay away. Yeah.
Yeah, just
My
stay
advice
away
too.
from it for a while. Okay,
I never
all
would have
right.
bought it in the first place. So yeah,
Okay.
my opinions on Stellar and XRP are clear on that.
Very, very different. Yeah. Okay. Last news from Bitpinas, but I think I should just let Gabby take over here. So you guys announced partnership with League of Kingdoms. I am embarrassed to admit that I'm not entirely sure what that is. I know that
All right.
is gaming related, but please enlighten us. Tell us what's been going on.
All right, so let's unpack this. So Yield Guild Games, or YGG, is our play-to-earn guild that we started 2 months ago. So it's basically a gaming guild that gathers people from around the world so that they can earn crypto via playing games with blockchain-based economies. So of course, our early efforts started around Axie, but we've been scouting around basically for land investments in other games that would basically create yield. And this League of Kingdoms is a strategy game, kind of similar to Clash of Clans, that you can play on the App Store. It's also available on web. And basically, your land can give you the rewards in terms of DAI, or US dollars, basically crypto US dollars. So what we did was that as a guild, we bought $22,000, or over $1 million worth of digital land in this game, which will be housed in our wallet that will be kind of co-owned with our guild members. And we're going to be issuing them tokens that represent a fractional share of that land. Right?
That's smart.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're it's like a cooperative.
It is definitely like YGG is basically a gamers cooperative.
Crypto
We
co-op.
want
Yeah.
to turn gamers into investors, and
It's a
so
very
we look for games with really promising economies. We do the upfront investment. The players come in and help develop the land basically, because without them playing it, we won't get the rewards, and they get
Yeah.
a share of the return.
I like that.
Very
I like
cool.
that approach. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
very cool. I know that you always wanted to invest in land, but like here it is, right? I mean, you're just doing it digitally. Very cool.
Yeah. So I guess it's the first time that someone's made millions of pesos investment in land, at least in kind of a Philippine setting. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have digital land that exceeds more than that. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So last week, Kuku was on the show and he was telling me that I missed out on your YGG founders. Is
Founders
it coin
coin.
or token? Yeah, founders coin because I didn't see it being announced. Like,
Yeah.
what's the story on the founders coin?
So it's an NFT, so it's not a cryptocurrency. It's basically an NFT that represents like the YGG logo, and it's based as a reward for people who were basically among our first 1,000 backers in YGG. So this is
Nice.
part of what we want to do is basically use NFTs to reward our loyal guild members. So if you're around, you do certain quests. Yeah, you can have NFTs that will give you certain bonuses in the guild or maybe purchase discounts. And our plan is that eventually, actually, some of these NFTs will show up as items in the games of that we're
Nice.
partner with.
But they won't. They're not bought. They're not given or bought, and they won't increase in value as NFTs because then that attracts attention of SEC.
Well, we never sold it,
Yeah. No,
so
given as reward, like employee badges, stuff like that. Yeah, that's good.
exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Right. And did I get that right? Like, I think I might have seen a YGG tattoo on someone's
Yeah.
arm.
This has
going on with
never
that?
happened to me. I think this might be a record. 2 months
Okay.
from founding to first tattoo. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
one of our guild members do a
Okay.
tattoo our guild logo last
Okay.
Saturday evening.
Okay. Is he, like, is the guild member allowed to be identified? Or it's not Kuku, is it?
Yeah,
Because that would be pretty funny.
si Oyik is part of Kuku Sandogang actually.
Nice, nice. Well, I knew that it was gonna be a Sando guy for sure. So that's pretty cool. Okay, wow. Are we gonna announce? Like, did you give him a founder's coin?
I gave him 10 axes, in fact.
Wow.
Nice. Very cool.
You're giving ideas to the audience that if they get a tattoo, you'll give maxis.
Well, I mean, so
Marketing.
I think the lesson here is that so we've already done. Was it on his arm, Gabs? Was it here?
Yeah,
On his
like
shoulder?
shoulder.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so it's a shoulder tat. Okay, so people in the chat, we're not gonna settle for anything less than a full back, right? That's bare minimum now.
What? I want it on the forehead.
Or like Inglorious Bastards, yeah? You want that.
Yeah. The next, like, it's gonna take a little bit more to impress us now. So it's gonna be
That's
full
the
back, tramp stamp, or forehead, or something like that.
I'm
If you
just
wanna
wondering,
do
should
it
I?
like that.
That's a good marketing thing, If we'll give you money if you put a tag logo on your arm or whatever on the back. Somewhere it's obvious. But on the back, no one's going to see it, are they? And even with a sando.
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, if you're a surfer, if you're on the beach a lot, you'd probably.
No, I like Justin's idea. Forehead or nothing.
Forehead. Jesus,
It comes with the copyright, so you get all the royalties.
Yeah,
to make
dude,
sure
that
all
is
that's taken care of.
incredibly painful. Also, like tattoos on any part of your body that has that much bone right there, that's fucking painful. But anyway, yeah. So
You pay extra for that.
Let me share that very quickly, just so for people who are wondering. Yeah, there you go.
Tattoos.
I mean, do it.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Oh wow!
So this
oh,
guy's already.
fancy.
Yeah, so this guy's already inked, naman. Like, it's not like it was his
Yeah.
very first tattoo ever. But yeah, so there you go. There's the YGG logo on actual skin. It's not quite as immutable as a blockchain. I believe that you can still remove
Yeah.
tattoos if you regret it.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, he
So,
got
Gabby, you
some
better make
pretty
sure
cool
you're-
axes for it.
Yeah, Gabby, you gotta make sure you're going to be around for a while because he looks kind of tough, that guy, with the tattoos.
I guess we're not doing any rebranding anytime soon.
Give it at least a year, no, before you change that logo. Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, so again, last bit of news right before we move into our raffle. Let me share my screen again. Here we go. Last bit of news, and this is for the people who just use Binance. No, so Binance Philippines announced that they are finally going to have Filipino chat support. If you are having problems with your Binance account, if you need help with something, if you have issues, blah blah blah, there is now Pinoys on the other end who will be able to speak to you in Tagalog. I actually thought this was very cool because some of my most common complaints that I hear from locals who are using Binance is that it's kind of confusing. So like the interface has so many different things you can use, and it's like if you've never done this stuff before, it would really help if someone could speak to you plainly in Tagalog. And here you go, guys. You can finally do it. So I thought that was a really cool little effort from, I believe it was Colin and Miko and the rest of the Binance Philippines team who allowed this to be put together. So there you go. Binance in Tagalog, pretty fun. Any last thoughts, guys, before we move into our raffle? We have, how many names do we have tonight? We have 103 names that we are going to be picking. Gabby, where should we? What's the main thing that you're looking forward to this week, either for YGG or for Ether or the crypto market? Do you have anything that you're looking forward to this coming week?
The thing that's been keeping my interest is this token called DIG, D-I-G-G. It's created by Badger DAO, which is basically a Bitcoin, a DAO that works on applications that are related to putting Bitcoin on Ethereum. And do you know what a rebase token is?
Nope.
No.
It's a token that basically rebalances to a certain price point. So, for example, Ample Fourth is a token that
Right.
rebases back to $1. So, it
Yeah.
can give you more tokens or
Yeah.
take some from your wallet. So, Dig is a token basically that is pegged to Bitcoin price, and and it rebases.
Holy fuck.
If it's above or below Bitcoin price. So I think it's probably the most one of interesting money games I've ever come across.
This is the
Yeah.
Dignity one, right, Gabby?
No, DIGG.
Okay. DIGG.
Dig
Okay,
DIGG.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
there's a
Wow, that is a
Dignity one from
confusing.
2017 that went completely
Yeah, this is different.
rug
Yeah,
pull,
this is
right?
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's
the
cool,
gold.
interesting.
That's the gold token. Yeah,
Yeah,
the one you're
yeah.
talking about, Justin.
Yeah.
Right. DIGG is another thing entirely, and it's equally confusing because back in the early 2000s, digg.com was one of the biggest sites on the internet. But they were pre
Pre-Reddit.
Reddit before Reddit was Reddit. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that is a really weird one. Sige, like I'll monitor it and see if it's something we can talk about. But just for the people in the chat who didn't get the explanation, these rebase currencies, what they actually do is they will actually either add or remove tokens from the
From your
overall
wallet.
market cap, or your
From your
individual
wallet.
wallets, from
Yeah.
your wallet, in order to maintain a particular price point. That is such a weird concept that I've never completely understood exactly. So your balance on your wallet changes.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a Uniswap kind of private Uniswap thing.
Well,
No,
Apple Firth was one of the most popular ones that
Yeah.
was doing that, and we talked about it on the show sometime last year.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I even have heard of this concept. It's pretty crazy, that one. Okay, let's do our raffle now. I think people are starting to really wait for this, so let me do this. Share my screen.
Whoa.
Here we go. Let's go back. I actually have my drum roll ready this time, by the way, because last episode when I was on the beach, I was too embarrassed to actually have a drum roll playing while I was sitting in front of Clean Beach. So okay, here we go. Just a quick reminder, people in the chat, you have to have at least commented at least once in order to be eligible for the raffle. We will pick 3 winners tonight. Each one will win 1,000 pesos worth of crypto. I think we're just gonna do Bitcoin again this week. We're probably just gonna keep doing Bitcoin actually for the foreseeable future. So we'll try this now. I am going to call our first winner. Same rules as before. No, if you've already won twice, you can't win again. But it's only our second episode of the year, so far no one has won twice yet. So here we go. Starting with the raffle now. Jihan Metilio, congratulations. You are our first winner of the night. You win 1,000 pesos worth of crypto. If you're in the chat right now, please message us so we can find you. Or if not, we will post at the end of the show. We'll have a congratulatory post. And then please just comment on that so we can find you more easily. Okay, here we go. Winner number 2. Oh, drum roll. Man, I can't even get that right. HJ Galang, you've won at least once in 2020, but this is the first time that you've won this year. I remember your name. Congratulations, you're winner number 2. Hey Gabs, when are you gonna be back on the show and sponsoring something?
I can probably 2-3 weeks from now. Yeah, we can do that.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah,
Mark
February.
Vernon?
February would be a good time
Sige.
if Chinese New Year doesn't kill us.
Let's do we're probably gonna end up doing like a Valentine's. Oh, our Valentine's episode is gonna be 2 days late, unfortunately. But anyway, okay, we'll see. We'll see what we can do there. Mark Vernon, maybe if you've got spare axes that you want to.
I was thinking of giving if you want, I can give a couple of prizes of 2,000 tag, on Ethereum.
Yeah, how about let's do that? Let's do that in the following week. Did you have
whenever.
something you wanted to announce in the following week or something like that?
I have something ready now, but yeah.
Okay, let's do it this week. Let's do it next week so that we've got
no worries,
sponsors for next week. Yeah. Okay. All right. So one last winner for this week. Winner number 3. Here we go. Ping Mendoza. I know this name also. He won once last year. There you go. Okay, so those are our 3 winners for the week. Jihan Metilio, HJ Galang, Ping Mendoza, congratulations. We are going to put a post up after this episode. After this live stream is done, we're going to put a post up on our Facebook page. And then please just comment there so we can find you more easily. And then we'll just hook you up with your Bitcoin prizes. Guys, it's been a great episode. Gabby Dizon, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Where can people find out stuff about YGG? What's your Discord? What's your website?
Discord.gg/YGG. We got the vanity
Awesome.
URL already.
Nice. Congrats. That's a good one. Okay. Discord.gg/YGG. That's a really good one. Nice. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabby. Mark Vernon, where can people find more of you?
This time we got Discord running as tag. So you can go to tagbond.com or tagash, but tagbond.com, and you can test, you can create your own NFTs on testnet.tagbond.com. There's a faucet up there to buy, to get the tag and to create your own NFTs and play around with it. So yeah, it's fun. So you can get hold of me on the Discord channel.
Awesome. Justin David, please take us out.
Sure. Can find out more about Bloom on bloom.solutions. Also reach out to any Bloom members on Facebook Messenger and on Telegram.
Thank you so much, everyone. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. See you guys in 7 days, and may Bitcoin be at $41,000.
Yes.